We'll do a quick reading of Servant of the Damned. I don't know why I'm all nervous all of a sudden.
You got
Servant
this.
of the Damned.
I was promised a donut,
Virtual donuts.
Krispy Kreme.
All the gifts. Alright, here we go. Vera's lands are steeped in magical energy. Countless sorcerers and mages have exerted great effort to tap into its seemingly boundless wellspring of potential, with no avail. One particular mage sought a means to bend the wills of ordinary creatures to hers, while fortifying their fighting abilities. Numerous experiments yielded little fruit, and in her growing frustration, she began resorting to darker energies as a conduit. Ultimately, her efforts were rewarded. She chose a prodigious feline from Vera's rolling plains as the basis for this experiment, due to its proud yet ferocious nature. After hours of dark incantations and rituals, otherworldly entities saw fit to imbue the creature with their energy. As the creature stepped out as the creature stepped out of its enclosure, what was once a mane of fur was now a shock of glinting quills from tip to tail. Throughout its body, sickly dark bands marked the beast. While its countenance was suitably fearsome, its viciousness was bolstered thricefold. It would burst forth with blinding speed, claws and fangs outstretched, seeking to maim any creature it deemed a threat. The beast would not hesitate, nor even stop to consider risk. Only to its master would it obey any command. However, the dark mage noted that the creature would indeed grow anxious if its murderous tendencies were not sated. With the mage's success, she replicated the process, creating more and more dark servants. What other creatures has she created? Unfortunately, with all of this power, the now infamous Eula the Damned drew considerable attention to herself, and no small number of mercenaries and adventurers came to end her reign. Eventually, she fell, but her research was taken, and it slowly began to proliferate despite attempts to quell the spread of dark knowledge. Years later, it is rare to meet a practitioner of magic that has not heard of the cursed charger and the aforementioned methods of its creation. There you have it. The story of the Servant of the Damned.
Damn.
Nice.
Oh, no,
Who wrote that?
That was
Very nice.
So we have, quite a few writers on our team, but Alex, actually one of our animators, was the primary writer of that story, and he's amazing. Not only does he do amazing animation, but he also does a lot of awesome.
Props to
Are you
him.
guys considering a
Yeah.
role book at all?
We have a lot of stories, and so you'll have to, traverse the world of Vera to find them. But hopefully you'll hear more about Eula and her creation.
That was awesome. I want more.
That was a really good story, really good bedtime story.
Yeah, I
we
thought I was
have
gonna
some
stream
others
today,
on
but
the
now I'm just ready for it
articles,
now.
so if you haven't
Are you-
checked out some of the other ones on our articles, definitely check them out. And we'll have more stories coming down the line with every creature that we put out. And, I think a lot of people see them as only like cosmetic items. Every creature that we create also will be seen in the world in Ashes of Creation. So keep that in mind as we create all of them, that they're not just going to be cosmetic pieces. And then not only that, but we'll have different variations of those creatures and those models. We'll build off of them. So, this may be, kind of a big cat creature. There's probably other creatures that we'll make from this body and this what do you call it? Model, that is.
Yeah.
Like the same bones, animations, type things like that.
Sometimes I think some of them will cross over, so it depends on like the actual model. So in some cases, we might be able to take some of the animations, but in other cases, we might have to alter a little bit of the animations to fit the new model. But it's a good basis to start with whenever we create these creatures.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed what I
Yeah.
saw in the video. That was awesome.
Can you read out? Can you read out your secret muffin recipe next?
It was no secret. I streamed it live.
Hey,
Um,
Margaret, on a scale from 1 to 10, how good of an idea is it to pet one of these things?
Probably not a good idea to pet one of them, unless you have summoned one and you are its master. Then maybe not so bad, because it'll listen to you.
Is that a hint, Amy?
Someone needs to draw an illustration of the rider's face when the mount stops suddenly. And he runs his face
Oh.
It
into
is
the
a
back of
mount
his
as
neck.
well, so you'll get to see some mount animations later down the line, especially once people get to start hopping in the game and playing and utilizing some of these creatures.
I saw a little bit when it was repeating. You were kind of like low to the ground. It was really cool.
I want to hop in the game and jump on animals.
Yeah, the mount animations aren't quite done yet, so you got to see a little bit, I think, of some of it because they were seating where the saddle was going to be. Whenever they are like, what do you call it, doing the model for saddles, they often will put like, a fake person on it just to ensure that like everything sits properly and that when the creature that people don't like the body parts don't interpenetrate in with other parts of it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed there were no reins on the saddle. Are there reins going to be added?
I'm not sure on that front.
What about cloaks on your character? Are the cloaks gonna go through the animals?
That cloaks are always a hard thing. They get in the way of all kinds of stuff. So I think that'll be on our character team to really try to make sure that those things work properly. It's a lot of the weighting of cloaks, so every character and every piece of clothing and item that creatures wear, or that even NPCs wear, or that you yourself as a character will wear, are kind of weighted. So cloaks have it'll depend on like how they weight those, and then of course they're going to try their best to make them so they don't interpenetrate with things, but sometimes that happens. Usually QA catches a lot of that, and then the art team will try to like progressively make those better.
You should make lore
Nice.
sound bites like that.
So,
Yeah,
swimming
definitely.
animations for the mounts, or are mounts actually able to swim?
Some mounts, I believe, are going to be able to swim. I'm not sure if all of them will. I'm pretty sure that we definitely have mounts that swim, and some with swimming animations for sure.
Otter.
I don't know when they'll start showing them off. Yes,
Yeah, you ought to have good mounts.
the tiebreaker
you got the
definitely will
tiebreaker.
swim in the water. Probably swim better than on land, than walking on land. But
There's
I'm not
also
sure if
that
they're quite ready
Kickstarter one,
to
the
share
Clyde
the
Snapper.
water stuff yet.
Interesting.
But as you saw, maybe in one of our previous live streams, we did show a little bit more of our water tech and what Devin, for instance, has been working on, which is really cool, like the foam that comes up on the sea and stuff, like just the little touches that maybe you don't think about. But we still had some bugs I know that they were trying to fix. I'm not sure. I'm guessing he probably fixed them by now, but there was a little bit of a bug where if we placed certain rocks or stuff like that in certain areas that they weren't hitting it properly. So if you look really closely, you might notice some of those things. But we've definitely resolved a lot of them, and it looks amazing. I just want to live in some of the areas, like all the Pyre stuff. I just want to live there. It's my people. No, I'm just kidding. Just like
Vikings.
the concept of houses, like trees that are like housing is just amazing to me.
I think.
Yeah, the latest shop cosmetics look really cool.
Coastal
Like
node
that.
is where to go.
Yay, glad you like them. We try to go with kind of like that harvesty vibe, and you got a little bit more lore about the Verdant Keeper, who we hinted at in the Gorgeous Gourd contest.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Steven to bring Siege faster. We're dying out here.
We're working on it. Kind of takes like our entire team. They're all working towards all the different pieces and stuff like that. So, and when they're thinking about these systems and these processes, it's not just putting together like a smaller game mode. A lot of it too is thinking about the larger effect of it, like where you're thinking about how does this affect when I have like a larger space and more people and things of that sort. Especially when it comes to the MMO, it's going to be quite different.
I can't wait,
Are
honestly.
there any news on Horde mode and how exactly it's going to work? How many different like NPCs we can expect? Anything of that nature that you can share tonight,
I can't
please?
share anything about Horde mode. Sorry.
Okay, I tried.
Worth a try.
I have a question about Siege. How is commanding going to work, or organizing? Is there going to be commanding, and how will they be able to like organize their squads if that's possible?
I'm not sure on that front either. That'd be like a design question on how they're gonna handle stuff like that.
Okay.
Like one way I could see it work is the way PlanetSide 2 does it with their in-game like voice chat and text chat. That would work.
Yeah.
Actually,
We've always been discussing and talking about like how it could possibly be.
Just give people the ability to mute, because there's always going to be that one guy who's blasting his music or China #1. The moment you get in the lobby.
That is going to be
a way
important.
to
It can
meet
also be
people.
toxic.
Jeez, have I played
Muting is
PUBG with you
already
today
in,
before?
APOC though, so
Yes.
that should be fine.
I am definitely China #1. But only in PUBG, because it's like, who cares about, PUBG?
Can you check those for me?
Nobody's gonna know you like after the game is done.
Yep. So their team is definitely working hard. We have, environment on deck. We have all the character creators and creation working on a lot of things. All of the siege weapons are looking pretty rad, and they're really doing a lot of balance with that stuff, balancing with traps and the systems and how those get placed and how those work and how many you can have up at a time and those kind of things, and what classes have access to those types of abilities and whatnot. And then also just polishing a lot of the particle effects for all of the classes and the silhouettes, so that you can really easily tell, like, an engineer from another class, etc. And figuring out a lot of the look and style and feel of the UI and stuff like that in regards to Castle Siege.
Do you know if guild systems will be ready for that, or any other retention tools, such as leaderboards, stuff like that?
I know that leaderboards, they're definitely getting closer and closer to that. I've gotten to see some stuff that they already have planned on that front, and the UI and what that is looking like. I'm not sure on the guild stuff. I know that's something that they would love to have, but it also takes a lot of back end stuff that we have to do. As you notice with all of the friends list stuff, we're trying to fix it and solidify all of that stuff. So getting there.
Quick question, Margaret. I took the liberty and recorded what you just read. Is it okay with you if I upload it onto the community media channel?
The recording of the Servant of the Damned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because no one likes to read.
You can use
She's
it
like,
if you want.
yeah, you recorded me, you creep.
You should do that more often.
It
for the
sounded
next floor.
fine.
Hey, I record Poison. I record Poison all the time. He's my ringtone. He never complains.
It's weird whenever you read something and then you're like, man, how did I mess up that word? Like you've seen that word a million times and you know how it is, but when you start reading it out loud to 20 people, you're like, derp.
Yeah, I've been there.
It was called Servant of the Damned, right?
Servant of the Damned, correct.
Sweet.
And it's on the
Curse
website.
Charger. Okay.
Yep, it's on the website.
Uploading it in case anybody wanted to listen to it again.
It's got the latest video had such a high production value. It was really cool. Does that mean that it's kind of coming to APOC pretty soon? Kind of like how the what was it? The Kickstarter mount, the flying mount, came to APOC.
The buff butterfly.
The butterfly.
Oh yeah. I'm not sure on that front when they'll be able to swap out horses for other types of
I
mounts.
was wondering that.
I know that's something that they have discussed. It just takes a little. That would take coder time to do that, and I don't know if they're really wanting to do that for the battle royale portion of it.
Got it.
Yeah.
While we're on that note, Margaret, what about the summer backers, man? Because I'm kind of hurt. I want the lion in there,
Well, they're working their way through
The Pride
all
Stalker,
of. They're working their way through.
Man.
Yeah, Pride Stalker. So some of the creatures require some particle effects love. Pride Stalker is definitely one of those. So once those get to a more finalized state, you'll probably be seeing them in our creation videos. I will let you know that one's primarily waiting on some particle effects. So once it's ready and I'm approved to use it, I definitely will. But yeah, I'm glad that you guys all think that the videos are coming together even better than they have in the past, and our goal is to only make them continually better as we move forward. have been enjoying and sharing with you guys the process of creating creatures. I think, a lot of people are wanting to see development, and this is what development is. Like, obviously, we're fast forwarding it quite a bit, but each of those creatures takes a lot of time and effort to create. And once we get some of these creatures down and we're able to create creatures from those creatures, it will make it a lot faster for us and less time consuming as we move forward. And so they're slowly getting through all of the Kickstarter creatures. You're going to start seeing a lot of those coming through, the monthly cosmetic ones that you guys have been seeing, and all of those are going to be changed into iterations of creatures that you're going to see in the world, monsters, bosses, mobs, all kinds of goodness. So not only will they be creatures that people have, but they will also be creatures that you'll see in the world. Maybe not quite in those same variants, but you'll see them.
I can't wait to see more. I already want more.
I love the videos.
The video was really great. The process of not only showing the creation of it, but then telling a story about the creatures. That was definitely something to.
If this is the first one that you've seen, definitely go check out the other ones, because we've done the same thing for all of them. All of them show the creation, and then they show the end with them in the world. And that's our goal, is to kind of.
You just need to watch the Otter one.
The Otter one's good. The Otter one has a funny story too, and I think we talked about it in the live stream, but initially it was much smaller than it was before. And I thought that was just comedic relief, but then Steven, when he saw the video and was going to the approval process, he was like, why are they what is happening? I was like, I don't know, I thought that's, by the time it usually gets to me, usually it's because it's already been approved.
He's wearing the Otter.
But I guess a step was, so they changed it up and made him a little bit bigger, but it was pretty comedic. You probably could have worn each of them as sandals.
Wait, you said it gets to you after it's been approved, so you don't get leaks either?
I mean, I get leaks. I get to see the process, because we do team reviews every 2 weeks. So I get to see the sprints and where people are. But those sprint reviews aren't necessarily when things are done. And obviously, when the artists want to share them is usually when they're done and they're finished and they look beautiful. And so that's when we try to share it with you guys, is when they're a little bit more further along and they're ready to be shared with everybody. And I know people were like, they wanted to see particle footprints and stuff like that for the charge cursor. Those are things that will definitely be in the polish run as we move forward. But those are kind of later down the line.
It's going to be interesting to hear the story behind the Bone Strider and how that whole thing came to be.
Oh yeah, well, we have a lot of amazing stories for you all to hear, so stay tuned on those.
Make sure you
Margaret,
read them all.
did you eat cat food too, or was that just
somebody else?
I didn't have to eat the cat food, but I did end up eating a dog biscuit, which was disgusting.
I saw that. I was like,
it was dry. Like I think the worst part was that it was dry.
So gross.
I was
just to clarify.
I was like gagging.
Kevin didn't have
like,
to eat any of that stuff, right?
Kevin did not have to eat any of that, and I did not let him eat the dog food biscuit. I was like, no, you're not eating this. What the heck?
You gave him the dog food jelly, or someone the dog food jelly.
He ate the cat food because he thought that John had to eat the whole thing.
You just let him
He's trying to be a team
just
player.
let him think that.
Said no to rivers, but yes to cat food.
I don't know.
So, have you played the MMO, Margaret?
Ooh.
And
how was it?
Toast has. We all kind of have. I mean, obviously we're testing and making things come along. So, that's all. I can't really say too much, but I know that, like, from all of us, we love MMOs and we all want to play them. I mean, Toast and I play during our break. We play other MMOs while we're waiting. So I think we definitely have a lot of people who are super passionate about it. I was raging about another MMO and how terrible their quest lines are. So I'm excited to bring the next generation of games, especially to MMOs. I play a few.
Oh, a few.
I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to figure out which one I was talking about.
I'm not gonna come to the game. And look, I'm dedicated to Ashes, and that's it. That's all I want to play.
Does this start with an A and ends with an H?
No, Age of Ashes. Yes, that's what I want to play.
We gonna
Arc
get
of
any
Creation.
news about the glittering geode anytime soon?
The what?
That one is going to be a little interesting because the creation of that creature is going to incorporate a lot of particle effect stuff. So it's kind of the first of its kind in some senses. We have a few other creatures that maybe will have particle effects, but not on the scale that one will, because you have all these like tentacles coming out of the bottom of it. So I'm excited to see that one come to fruition as well. I know that I think Jinsey was wanting to work on that, but I don't know how far along that is on the pipeline. So whenever it is, we'll let you guys know.
Are we
It
still
looks
waiting on
awesome, and I
special
know
approvals
Danny's
for the dev
terrified.
letter?
Yes, that is still waiting on Steven to get some final information.
How's the office move going?
It's going good. We are still planned to move out at the end of this month-ish, beginning of next month, end of this month. So we're excited. I know I'm excited. More meeting rooms will be really nice because we are all trying so hard to get that one room, and often we have to like do little off-campus meetings. Some people do meetings in cars. Like it's definitely gotten interesting, and we have like 6 chairs left in the office because we've even gotten rid of like the couch setup that we used to have in order to accommodate for more people. So once we move, we'll be able to hire a lot more people, which will be really nice. And we definitely need more hands on deck, especially artists, to create a lot of the things that we need.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things to create.
What's your favorite zone in the MMO?
I can't share that with you yet.
You're not your
All right, well, I'm going to get back to work.
Office?
Right.
So thank you all for joining me for this little reading, and hope I answered some of your questions. And I'm excited. I'm glad that you all are really enjoying the lore. We have a lot more lore to go. Obviously, we don't want to give away too much, so these little side stories will kind of give you some little elements. If you put two together, you might figure out some bigger elements. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it, and I think what we're aiming to do is make a breathing, living world that is, a lot of the times you just get an item and you don't really know what the purpose of that item is in the world, or you're riding a creature and you don't really know why. We're hoping that we can change that.
Yeah, no, thank you for doing this. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't
Loved
make
it.
it like
Have a
Archangel.
good evening, morning, or night, or whatever it may be for you all.
Thanks